Go now?
Mm-hmm.
So we're saying an interesting principle. It's really very similar and akin to what we said before, that in a very real sense, keilim are really superior to oiris. In terms of the message, in terms of gilui, oiris are much superior to keilim. But then, in terms of their essence, keilim reach into the very essence, and oiris, they reach into a gilui of the essence. This we discussed in the previous mimer, and we also discussed it here now, after we transferred to this mimer.
We're here.
Okay, we are in page Chav Hey.
No, like where this principle, where did it come out? In this mimer.
No, we discussed it. Didn't come up directly. So we will get into it slightly, and then we'll discuss the principle that we are that already started this morning. We are in the middle of the last section on page Chav Hey. The line begins with the word hainu, 7 lines from the bottom. We say that in atik there is not the bechina of keilim, the whole phenomenon of keilim. And the Rebbe makes an emphasis, it means that there is not the whole inyan of keilim. Inyan means the whole function, the whole purpose of keilim. Not only that keilim bepeil are not there, because the oil is overwhelming, but there is not even the function of keilim altogether. And now we discussed it this morning, and now we continue further. On this line, it begins at hainu, at the end of the line, hagam shebemadrege shelamayla me'atik, the atzilus. Although that the madreges are above of the atik of atzilus, as we mentioned this morning. Atik means remote, removed, and it means removed from something. It's a relative term. It means it is removed from atzilus. This is the atik related to atzilus, but then there is atik which is related to a much higher level. So atik of atzilus, there are high madrigas in that. There is a ak, which is a high madriga in that. So madrigas are a mile me'atik atzilus. K'may bechinas ak mavur b'makimachet. It's explained elsewhere in his boy Gamkin Liyil Perik Yud, and it was also explained earlier The head that I keilim to show that the absence of keilim in ak who rag bechinas heder hametzius. There it is only in the sense that in the heder hametzius there is not the metzius, the actual presence of keilim. What does that mean? Only the presence of keilim, but not the essence, not the inyan of the function of keilim. Hainu, which means to say, shekam be'ak yesh metzius keilim. That in ak also there is really the inyan of keilim. Rak except mitnei tekim ha'ir v'hagilui, because of the overwhelming oir and gilui, heim b'chinas heder hametzius. The keilim lose their presence, their metzius. But not to say that there is not the whole aspect of keilim. V'hainu, which means to say, shegam be'ak yesh metzius keilim. That in ak and odom kadmen there is the metzius of keilim. Rak except Mekomo came, but nevertheless, even though in ak, which is higher than atik, there is a metzius of keilim. But Mekomo came 3 notes on the bottom. Mekomo came b'chinas atik. In the name of atik yesh leimar. There it is appropriate to say sheshom lo yesh inyan ha-keilim klal, that there is not the whole inyan of keilim, the whole purpose of keilim. In other words, the presence of keilim is not dependent on the madrege, specific madrege. It is actually related to what is the tendency, what is the message in this madrege. So the Rebbe explains why in ak there is keilim and in atik there isn't. The harei ak odom kadmen hu bechinas arich the klolus o ilumus. This is the arich aspect. Like in Kesed there is 2 madreges, atik and arich. And ak, this is Kesed the atzilus. Ak is klolus o ilumus, is the world in general, the whole phenomenon of world. There too, there are all the various madrigas that are represented further down in Atzilus. And there is arich and atik. So ak is the arich of klolus o ilumus. As explained in Nikut Torah. This is the ak abo bechinas atik, but the aspect of atik hu bechinat akteino shebematzil. This is the other aspect. It's called the takteino shebematzil, the lower madrege of the matzil, of the source, which is boy, as we shall explain, the shorshoy, which is rooted lamaylam bechinas ak, higher than the inyan of ak. So in that aspect, in atik, which has a higher root than ak, it is conceivable that lo yesh inyan ha-keilim klal, that there is not the inyan of keilim at all, the whole phenomenon of keilim, the purpose of keilim, the idea of keilim. All right. Under the circumstances, we'll take a little time and try to discuss further the principles that we are dealing with, which would be helpful in many aspects in general, and it would also be helpful on a personal level. So we began. What are you looking for?
I just wanted to confirm something with Paltiel.
Go ahead. The principle that I'd like to bring out which is also of a general value to understand. And this will be helpful for us to understand the constant conflict that exists between the Torah view, the Pneumistic view, and the Chitzonius view, the world view. Just to take one simple example that we already discussed before. Not recently, but not so long. The pasuk says, mentioned recently, the pasuk says that when rain comes down from the heavens, the rain comes down for the purpose and it's designed to water the earth and cause the earth to be productive and fruitful. This is what rain is about. The Chitzonius, those who approach knowledge of the world from the worldly presence itself, to them, this fact that that rain has this positive effect and that it causes the earth to be productive and so forth, this is inadvertent. It's unintentional on the part of the rain. The rain has not that in mind. The rain is just a natural cycle that water evaporates into the air, which is also explained quite naturally. And when the air is saturated with this with this water to the point where it can no longer contain it, particularly when the temperature changes. Cold temperature cannot hold as much water as a warm temperature. So then the water condenses and it falls down in the form of rain. It's a totally inadvertent cycle. There is not the most significant aspect that is taking place has the least amounts of significance.
Has the least
Amount of
Significance.
Again, the most what?
The most significant aspect in what's taking place has the least amount of the least amount of recognition of presence.
The most significance has the least presence.
Most significant. That's, in other words, the fact that the rain causes the earth to be productive. This is not part of the cycle that creates rain.
by chance, according to
By the Kashmir community, it's not, but it's one and the same. The similar aspect is in the phenomenon of light. We are talking about light with such supreme terms, and from a Chitzenizik perspective, light is but energy emanating from an excess of energy, and this energy is so powerful that when it hits an object, it bounces back, it reverberates. And when this bounce back energy hits the eye has a sensitivity to these waves, to this energy, and therefore the bounce back from the object of this energy, it differs from different shapes of the object and different colors of the object, and this is how the eye observes colors and shapes and so forth. The eye does not really relate to the shape and color of the object that it sees. Again, the most significant aspect. Can you imagine the world without light? Would that be a world? That most significant aspect is totally discounted. Yes, sir.
From what you're saying about the phenomenon of light, to go back to the rain, we're saying that the fact that the water feeds the earth and makes it productive is secondary to the fact that the rain is being created in the sky and it comes down from the cloud. The most significant is the creation of the rain itself. Is that what we're saying?
I don't know. I would like to make sure that you understand what I'm saying. No. I'm talking from a secular viewpoint.
Okay. All right.
In the secular model, in other words, their mode, means of understanding things and formulating structures. This is what happens.
Okay.
There's a physical process that is totally disinterested in anything else but its own process.
So what's the essential point here?
The central point, okay, there's a physical process. Similar, this process is no different than a car's wheels spinning. And the car perhaps knows that the wheels are spinning, but it does not have any idea that the wheels spinning can move the car on the ground and can move it and to get places. The car is not interested in getting places. The car has spinning wheels, period. When they build a car that it should spin wheels. Then it happens that if the wheels spin and they are put on the ground, then they will push off the ground and and the car will move. Again, why do you buy a car? Because of the spinning wheels or because the car moves?
Because it takes you to places.
Why do you buy a car? Because of spinning wheels or because it moves?
It moves.
But its movement is not part of the car.
Well,
It's like,
we came to the car to clarify the previous two Mashalim.
Yeah. They came to the car, they came to everything to point out that when you study existence, the world, from a purely worldly perspective, you get a totally, a caricature of a world.
Mm-hmm. You get a mechanical.
Mechanical is not mechanical, sure. As I feel that you lose sight of the most significant things that there is.
Which is?
Which is the intent, the spirit.
That created the car.
Like the movement of the car, or like the rain falling on the ground, or like the energy from the sun hitting an object and making light. The Torah actually does not say that the sun is to give light. The Torah says that the sun is to identify day, night, and months and years. Not the sun, the two luminaries. I don't want to go, I'm bringing out the point. How is it there is that profound, that sharp dichotomy?
A sharp dichotomy. It's constant conflict.
A dichotomy that there's no bridge. We say, the Torah says, that the very first day the Rebbe created light before even creating the luminaries. Light is a part of the building block of the world. and all the things that we mentioned, which is really not even a drop in the ocean of all the where this economy surfaces. The reason I'm always bringing this up is that if we are exposed to that thought process, which is extremely convincing because I can prove it to you. These are all things that can be replicated, can be made artificially, humanly reconstructed. Water evaporates, everybody knows that. And it condenses and falls down, everybody knows that. The same is true regarding a car. We build a car to make sure that the wheels spin well. Once the wheels spin well, then the car will move if you spin them. And all other, wherever you go, there is that dichotomy.
The reason we got into looking at these differences is to show how convincing they are, or to bring out what?
To identify the principle that we're actually learning here, which most of us are not really into, the Ayin of keilim. There could be a high madrega that does have keilim, and a low madrega that doesn't have keilim. It's not related directly to the madrega. It's related to the principle of that madrega. The principle in the Torah, the Torah principle that explains the world, is totally different than the secular principle that explains the world. And the difference is that the secular principle begins that the world consists of a complex structure, complex interreaction, interleaving of many different parts, many different physical parts. The very basic physical part is the atom or the subatomic particle. Everything is built of the subatomic particle. None of these particles have any sense, any idea of what is the result of their combination. They're just physical presences for the sake of being a presence. The Torah view is that the world is not only a creation, but it's a godly creation. What does that mean? Let me go back and show the dichotomy. The basic building block of the world in the secular way is the subatomic element, matter. And this subatomic matter is the basic building block of the world, and that is indestructible. This is the basic reality of the world. The basic building block, the basic aspect in the world that builds a world as we see it, as the Torah sees it, is the godly spirit. And that is indestructible. Which means that this spirit is not there, just as in contrast, just as in the world view. The physical, the matter elements are being used to structure all kinds of different things. And all the things that are being structured, they are precarious. The real solid presence is this subatomic particle. The Torah view, as I said, is the opposite. What gives the world a presence? It is the godly intent, the godly presence. This is what makes it really be. Godly presence. Yes, as we said before. Light is infinitely more significant than the energy that emanates from the sun. The same is in the other examples. The car, or the wheels spinning. The car, the movement of the car, this is what the car is about. Not the spinning of the wheels. As I pointed out, why do we buy a car? Because the car has spinning wheels and because it moves. Right? It's the spirit that is the main staying part, maintenance of everything in the world. For sure, in the human being who is the microcosm of the world. He represents the entire reality in a micro concentration. What is the most significant part of the human being? Is it the muscle? Or his feet were able to kick a soccer ball or run? Or his hands? Which is the most important part of the human being? It's his brain. Not only is that the most important, but this is what energizes and gives spirit for everything else to operate. If we were going to describe a human being, to pinpoint what is a human being, he would inevitably go to his brain and to the spirit that carries him. Like we always point out that one principal characteristic of a human being is that he stands on 2 feet. We explained many times that standing on 2 feet is physically unnatural. It's pretty.